Hi everyone, welcome to the Crafty Pixie channel where we do sewing projects, craft projects, and subscription boxes. I am B. Whether you are new or old to this channel, thank you so much for stopping by. The support is amazing. Thank you guys very, very much. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and the notification bell so you know when I upload every Wednesday at 9:15 a.m. Leave a comment in the comment section down below and give the video a thumbs up. In today's video, I have been given permission to make the Sewers Club box projects for you guys and kind of walk you through how it's done and how I feel it works for beginners or just people in general. And I got to make the pot holders for the February box. I love these. They came together really, really well, really fast. I am not a quilter by any means, and this is kind of a quilted type project, and I didn't have an issue with it at all. The directions are written beautifully. They're written simply. They're not too complicated. I didn't have to go searching and type in their little tutorial that they offer you in the box. I was able to do it on my own, which is really nice because sometimes I have to see someone doing something for me to get it. So it was nice that I could read it and do it. Customer service is quick and fantastic. When I got the box, I emailed them and I asked permission to film the tutorial, and they responded pretty quickly. They were so nice, and that's awesome. I don't feel like we get amazing customer service all the time anymore, so it was really nice. And I did a little bit of research on quilting because I wanted this to come out right. I didn't want to waste any fabric. They give you more than enough fabric, and you don't have to use the same fabric like they do in the picture that they give you. You can mix it up between the three, which is great. So I have got a few little tips in the video for you in the event that you've never done this. If you have any helpful hints for me, please leave them in the comments below. I'm always looking to learn something new. This was a learning experience, and it was a great one. I have plans to make these for people with different fabric, because the directions give you the measurements and everything. I won't be sharing those with you, but if you get the box, everything's in there for you to continuously make this project. So it's great. This is the first one I made. I did this one wrong because I didn't read the direction all the way through. I was like, I know what I'm doing there, I'm good. But this one came out much better. So without any further ado, let's get to materials and get started. All right. Yay! We're doing the pot holders from the Sewers Club box. All right, for this project, you're going to need, of course, the instructions. You're going to need all of the pattern pieces cut out per the measurements on the pattern. You're going to need some clips and some pins. You're going to need scissors. Of course, your coordinating thread, a sewing machine, an iron, and a little bit of time. Like I said in the unboxing, I've never done any quilting, so I went ahead and made one of them. So when I'm going through this, the instructions are telling you how to make both of them at the same time. I am only making one of them because I only have one left. What's really nice about this pattern though, because it gives you the specific measurements, you can completely customize this pattern. You can use whatever fabrics you want. So this makes great gifts, you know, housewarming gifts or anything like that. So let's get started. Okay, so the first step, I'm gonna try doing this without, it's gonna take me a second because I can't give you guys any of the measurements. They're all in the pattern though. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the smallest pieces of fabric B, and then the ones or the size a little bit bigger on the instructions for fabric B, and you're going to draw a diagonal line from one corner to the other on all of them. Okay, and then once that's done, you're going to take them, and you can clip or pin. Like I said, I've already done one of these, and I did pin everything. I had a little bit of an issue with the smaller blocks, so I'm clipping them. But what you're going to do is you're literally going to align them. So you're going to take your fabric A and your fabric B, the smallest pieces, and right sides together. We're going to line up this edge and this edge and either clip or pin, whichever one you want to do. Now if you're a quilter, you may cringe a little bit, but like I said, I've never quilted anything before. I'm kind of going off of what I've seen, and then so you're gonna do that to all of the pieces. What's nice is I'm just making one, but the instructions are guiding you to make both of them at the same time. Okay, so when you are aligning your top pieces, you want them to meet like this on your pattern. So you've got one going this way, one going this way on both sides. And then you're going to take the larger piece, like the next largest piece of fabric B, and you're going to line it up the same way on the bottom. Okay, so you're going to line up these three edges and either pin or clip them together. So when we're done, it's going to be like this. Okay, so when you're looking at it, they make half hearts. Okay, this is going to be the centerpiece for the pot holder. Now we're going to take this over to the sewing machine with the coordinating thread that they give you, and you are going to stitch from corner to corner. You're going to follow that line that you made on all of the pieces. Okay, I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and do now, and then I will be right back. All right, next what we're going to do after that is sewn is we're going to cut the excess off. So with a 1/4 inch left over, we're going to cut the excess off, just like that. So when you're looking at it and you've got this part this way, you got this part this way, you're going to cut these little extras off. When I first made these, I had a hard time. My brain was all like, no, don't do, what are you doing? No. But yes, it comes out right. sometimes you just got to get out of your head a little bit. Which is what I did, and I'm so happy with it. I love it. So, all right, so we're just gonna continue. I had absolutely no issue following along with the instructions. The instructions were written wonderfully. I didn't question anything after this point. I think when you are not used to quilting, some of the stuff they do in quilting can be a little odd for you. So you kind of freak out just a little bit, but it's okay. All right, so see, now it looks like a little heart there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this over to the iron, and we're going to fold up just like this, and we're going to press it down. Now, one thing I did cheat a little bit, and I did a little bit of research on quilting. Biggest thing is do not stretch your fabric, because when you quilt, it is very size specific when you're doing it. So you don't want to stretch out your fabric and then everything be more out of line than what it normally would be. And then another thing is when you are pressing your seam, you usually, there are a few exceptions, but usually you want to press your seam to the darker side of whichever fabric you're using. So I'm going to be pressing it out so it's on the side with the bee fabric. All right, and we're just going to do that to all of the pieces, just like that. Remember, don't pull, don't stretch. You just want to fold lightly, use light fingers, okay? Normal steam for your iron, for your cotton setting. Okay, so I'm going to do that to both of these, and I will be right back. All right, now that that is done, this is what you should be looking at. Maybe even better than what mine looks like. All right, so this is, when you put them together, it's a heart. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to take them and lay them right sides together, right along that center. We're going to line up the edges. Line up the edges. Lining up the edges is important. Okay. And we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, we're going to sew right down this center seam. Okay. Now, something else that I discovered in my little bit of research is that when you are sewing at a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance for your quilting, which is essentially what this is, you don't want to do exactly a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. You want to do what they call a scant 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, which basically means your seam allowance is just a little bit less than a 1/4 of an inch. Okay, from what I understand, it helps keep everything symmetrical and aligned, so that when you're adding the other pieces to it, you're not too off in any of the measurements. Okay, so I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine, and with a scant 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, I'm going to go right along the center line. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I will be right back. All right, after you have sewn that, you'll go over to the iron and you're gonna open it, and I pressed the center seam open so there isn't too much bulk one side as opposed to the other. And then this is, once you do that, this is what you're gonna look like. This one is already coming out way better than the first one I did. So next, what we're going to do is you're going to take your third piece of fabric B, and with your panel that you just made right side up, we're going to take one panel right side down and line it up with the top edge. If you measured it correctly and sewed it correctly, you should be pretty much aligned with the exact same length. You shouldn't be too off. Like your heart piece might be a little off like mine is, but your other matching B panels should be pretty much aligned. So we're going to take it and we're going to pin it in place. Just like this. Remember, don't stretch your fabric out or it's not going to cooperate correctly. Okay, so we went ahead and did that one, and then you're going to take your other piece and you're going to lay that right side down along the bottom. So you're going to align your bottom and your sides. So like I said, if your measurements are pretty much correct, you're good to go. You know me, I have a hard time when I don't have pattern pieces and I actually have to measure everything out. So biggest thing, measure twice, cut once. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and with a scant 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, we're going to run right along the top and right along the bottom. Okay, when you're done, you'll take it over to the sewing machine and you're going to press it open. All right, and you're going to want your seam allowance behind the panel when it's laying flat. Okay, so you want it this way, and then you want it this way. Okay, so I'm going to do that and I will be right back. All right, once you've pressed it, this is what you should be seeing. And you're gonna get a feel of what it's gonna look like when it's done. It's super cute. I really like this. Like I said, you can make this totally customizable after you make it using this amazing fabric that they picked for it. I have some family members who just bought their first home, and they're like me. They're a bit on, they like the skulls and the dark colors and everything like that. So I might just do something like this for them, just in fabric that might be a little bit more appealing to them. I'm sure they'll love it. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your last piece of fabric B, which should be the nice long one, and we're going to lay with your panel facing right side up. We're going to lay it down with the right side facing down right along the edge. And if you follow the seam allowance, or you're an experienced quilter, this should line up pretty much perfectly. Mine's not too bad. I got just a little bitty overhang at the top and bottom. That's okay. You can center this. All right, and then you're going to do the same thing with the other piece on the other side. especially this long edge. You really want that lined up. I know, I align it and align it and align it. All right, and then we're gonna clip it or pin it, whichever you're more comfortable with. I find that the pieces stay in their place better when I clip them. But at the same time, I don't really like pins all that much. I don't use them too often. So, all right, so we're good. You line up both sides. All right, and then we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and with a scant 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, we're going to sew along these 2 long edges. Okay, when you are done with that, you'll take it over to the sewing machine and you'll press them open, and you're going to press so that the seam allowance is on the back side of the last panel when you flip it right side out. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the sewing machine, do that, and I will be right back. All right, now that that is done and you've pressed it, this is what you're going to see. Isn't this so cute? Oh, I really, really like this pattern. Like, I'm so happy that I got this subscription box. I can't wait to get my next month's box. This is one of those, is the month over yet? Am I getting the box yet? And then I check my emails and check them again and check them again. And I actually emailed Sewers Club and, you know, let them know it was my first box, and I had a YouTube channel and I really wanted to film making the projects after I had done the unboxing, and they were very, very nice and, you know, said that that was absolutely no problem. So that's really customer service. They got back to me really pretty quickly. You know, it was just a really good experience, and I'm really, really happy that I chose this box. All right, so next step, we are going to attach our panel that we just built to our batting. I love this batting. It is so soft. I really like it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay our batting down. Now make sure it's the batting and not the thermal fleece. And then you're going to lay your panel on top. Now when you do this, they should be pretty much aligned. Now if your batting is a little bit longer than, you know, the actual panel that you just built, it's okay, because when you attach the two together, there's gonna be a little bit of movement, so it's okay if it's a little bit bigger. Like mine's a little bit bigger. All right, so in the instructions it says to attach the two together in any way that you would like. What I did to my first one is I attached by sewing the 2 long edges, you know, top stitching them with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then I also top stitched this seam and this seam right here, so everything lays nice and flat. In the picture on the pattern, it shows a little bit more detail, like they did these 4, and then they did these and these and these. You know, they really, really attached it. I was okay with, you know, there was no movement in the fabric or anything when I did just the 4. So to match the other one, I'm just going to do the 4. Now, like I said, I'm going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to go do that, and I will be right back. All right, now that you're done attaching the batting to the panel that we just made, of course, you give it a press, and then you can set it aside. Next, we're going to take the smaller of fabric C, and you're going to fold it in half. And then you're going to press it down. I would show you, but I am trying out a new layout and my iron's all the way over there. But we've done this several times in several different videos. But you're going to line up the raw edges. You're going to press it, and then you're going to open it and fold the raw edges in, pressing them. Both sides. Fold them in like that. Give them a good press. Then you're going to fold it up. And you're going to take this over, you give it a good press, and maybe some clips on the folded edge. But you're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and you're going to top stitch along both long edges at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance to close everything up. This is going to be the little handle for the pot holder. So once you're done that, of course, you give that one final press and you can put it to the side. And then you're going to take your large fabric C piece and the Thermolam. You're going to put it together. If a little bit hangs over, that's fine, because there's going to be a little bit of shifting when we attach it. And then in whatever fashion you want, you're going to attach the two together. What I like to do is start from one corner, go all the way down, start at the other corner, go all the way down, and then I do a 3/8 of an inch seam all the way around. Once that's done, I like to just connect, kind of make a star, and just connect our center mark that we made with the X with the 3/8 of an inch seam. And then that's nice and sturdy on there, but you can do it however you want. Okay, so I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'm going to do all of that, and I will be right back. All right, now that everything is done, you should be left with these 3 pieces. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold our little handle in half so that the raw edges are equally aligned. Just like that. And then, based on your personal preference, you can place it anywhere on the top edge that you want. I am going to place it right here, right along that seam there. You can baste this down if you would like, or you can put a clip. All right, make sure that the folded edge is facing in, your raw edge is aligned with your top portion. Then we're going to take our back with right side down. We're going to align everything. If you're a little bit off, it's okay. Just align it so it's centered. You can cut down the excess. And then we're going to clip all the way around. Now you are going to leave a opening so that you can turn everything right side out. Of course, just like pretty much any other project. Okay, so we're just going to align it. And you can put your opening anywhere that you want. The first one I did, my opening was right here. I think for this one, I'm going to have my opening down at the bottom. Okay, so just line everything up. It's going to be a little bit thicker because you've got the batting and everything. So you're going to want at least 3 to 4 inch opening so that everything turns out pretty easily. Okay, so there's my little opening. If you need to make a mark on it, you can do that. If you're going to remember not to sew there, it's even better. Okay, I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew around the edges at a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And you're going to back stitch really, really well at the beginning and at the end of your stitches. And you're going to want to back stitch really, really well over where your little hanger is going to be. Okay. Once you finish doing that, you're going to clip the corners and on both sides, and if you want, you can trim up so that everything is aligned evenly. Do not trim where your opening is, okay? And then we'll go from there. So let me get to the sewing machine and do this, and I will be right back. All right, now that that's done, and you turned it right side out, give it a really, really good press, like you see here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take it back over to the sewing machine, and we're going to top stitch at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance all the way around. Okay, isn't that so cute? Okay, I'm going to do the top stitching at the sewing machine, give it one final press, and then I will be back. Voila, with a final press, you are done with this cute little project. I really, really, really hope you guys enjoyed this. I certainly did. New learning experience, and I really, really like it. If you can't tell, this is the first one I made, and I didn't read the directions and made the the hanging tab wrong, but it's okay. Second one came out much, much better. I really, really enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, and give this video a thumbs up. Until next time, see ya.